What's up guys, DuArktik here with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we're going to take a look at the Spider Society team. We're going to take a look at their kits, sort of. We're going to just overlook the main points, and we're going to take a look at if these characters are going to have any value outside of raids, and if they have any prospects for Dark Dimension or something like that. And at the end of the video, I'm gonna tell you why I think this is a trap team for most people. This is a raid team. Yes, you should build the raid teams, but I'm gonna tell you my arguments, and then you have to decide on your own and together with your alliance if this is something that you are going to do or not, especially if you are free to play, right? So we're going to break down all the information that you need to know about the Spider Society team. And as always, if you like the information on these videos, make sure to share it to your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and make sure to smash that like button like a boss. Okay, so the Spider Society team is the next skill raid team, and as you guys heard in the past, yes, it's true, they are skill, but they're also bio, mystic, tech, and so on. This is the first full dual tag team, and in my opinion, this is a good thing for the game. While I agree with a lot of people that say there are so many skill characters, why they don't bring them to the game, even reworking the Secret Avengers with 2 new characters. While I understand that, I think dual tags on more characters is important. For example, characters like Gambit that are mutants, in my opinion, because they do some backflips and use sticks and guns and so on, they could also be skill characters, right? I think depending on the dexterity of the character, it could also be considered skill. Like for example, Cable is a mutant, but he does all kinds of backflips and he punches people in the face. He also uses guns, so yeah, it could be a mutant skill. I think that would be something cool in the future. So I'm excited for this prospect of having dual tag teams and dual tag characters. Is that going to affect how we gear up those characters? We don't know for sure. I'm not an envoy, I'm not on a test server, so I cannot tell you anything about the gear these characters use. Okay, so let's take a look at the kits of the characters, and we are just going to take an overall impression of what they do. We don't need to take a look at everything in detail. So Spider-Man India, aka Spider-Man Pavirt, I call him Spider-Man Kebab. Yes, I know kebabs are not just in India, or curry would be more appropriated, but it's just a funny name. The same way like the other one I call Spider-Man Sushi, then Spider-Man Burger King, and so on, right? It's just to make it easier to say. But Spider-Man Pavirt from India is going to work with slows and with speed ups. If he has speed ups, he's going to get certain bonuses. If he applies slows to the enemies, if the enemies have slows, he's going to do more damage and so on. So that's going to be important. One thing that we have to talk about is the isolate setup for this team. There is high crit chance and high crit damage on this team, and yes, you could use these characters as raiders, but if you are using all the characters as raiders, you might face a situation like we have with invaders, like we have with Hivemind, and like we have with Pegasus. You might not have enough energy to use their abilities multiple times, and this happens because they don't have a character that gives energy when they revive, because they have no revive, and they don't have any source of energy mid-game apart from basic attacks and striker isolates. So keep this in mind, because yes, you could use all of them as raider, but once again you might find yourself in a situation where you have no abilities to use because the cooldowns on this team are very, very long. Okay, so once again, Spider-Man Pavirt with his abilities, if he has speed up, he's going to give speed bar to the team. If he has slow, or if the enemies have slow, he's going to do more damage to the enemies. He's also going to be able to apply other negative effects like defense down, and you can spread this defense down after with Ghost Spider, which is also part of this team. We also have tons of rebound chains, which might create some problems that we'll talk about in a second. And it's going to buff the team with speed up, right? Speed up going to be very important on this team. And on spawn is going to apply vulnerabilities to the team. So even if you don't have all of them as raiders, you have a source of vulnerabilities right away. And we also have the speed up. On spawn is in raids is also going to apply trauma to the enemy team, to the character with the highest damage, and this is going to be pretty much crucial when you want to stop characters like the Spider-Man big times on the raids or the Kangs or anything like that. If this character has speed up, the enemies cannot gain speed up. Extremely important when you are doing the raids. Characters like Spider-Man big time on the boss node, they spawn with speed up. So because you also spawn with speed up, we hope that this will stop the enemies from getting speed up. We'll see how it works, if it works as Copley expects or not. And then we have the final up that if this character has speed up, he's going to get 5% drain and focus for each speed up that he has on himself, and he can get up to 5. In raids, this character is also going to provide crit chance, crit damage, and extra focus, not only to himself, but also for Hero Spider-Verse characters and the Spider Society characters in raids, but also outside of raids. So you'll see that this team has a lot of callouts for Hero Spider-Verse and Spider Society, because depending on you pair them up, you might open possibilities in other game modes like Alliance Wars and Cosmic Crucible. In my opinion, this team is going to be similar to Rebirth 2.0, so it's going to be like a Rebirth 2.0 as a skill team. So you might expect some kind of Alliance War season or a Cosmic Crucible season that is going to greatly benefit or Spider Society characters or Hero Spider-Verse characters. Moving on to the next character, we have the Spider-Man Sushi, we have a Spider-Man Neo Genesis Evangelion, Penny Parker, whatever you want to call her, and she's going to have similar mechanics like Spider-Man India, but instead of being speed up and slows, she's going to work with the barrier and also with deflect. So depending if she has barrier, depending if she has deflects, she's going to provide different mechanics for the team and for herself. She also has two abilities that apply stuns. So once again, depending if you are using this team in raids or in other game modes, you might have multiple stuns right away, or you might have a little bit, you still have stuns, but it's a little bit slow because this character is going to be a lot slower. So with her basic, she's going to also provide energy to the team, deflects, and if you have her as a striker, she's going to provide more energy to the team. So she's going to be similar to Gwenom. And you guys know that it's very, very important to use Gwenom as a striker, and even using the basic of Gwenom sometimes, just to make sure that these very expensive abilities that require 7 and 8 energy, that you can use them maybe twice a match. Otherwise, you might not be able to clear the nodes if your team is not big enough. So once again, she's going to apply stun, she's going to provide the barrier. She's also going to apply heal block to the enemies, clear negative effects on the team, apply stealth, apply more deflects, apply immunities, apply offense subs. So it's going to be very important that you always have energy to use a special, as you don't have a lot of sources of offense sub on this team. Clear more negative effects, attack more enemies, more damage if she has barrier, so similar like the other guy with a slow. And she also has a stun, but also an ability block that you can do for support enemies. So this is good. You want to make sure that you apply the stun to a character that is not support. So after, you can apply ability block to the other characters with support. In raid, she's going to apply trauma, and she's also going to apply safeguard. This is going to be huge. This is going to be massive whenever you are facing those very annoying Spider-Man big times on the boss node in the raids. On spawn, if this character has barrier, she's not going to give barrier, but she has no barrier, she's going to provide barrier to the team. So you don't want to use her as a fortifier, you want to use her as a striker for the energy, for the barrier, for everything that she does. Then she's going to apply offense down on spawn. This is going to increase the survivability of the team. And at the end of every turn, if this character does not have barrier, she's going to barrier the entire team. So she's probably one of the characters that you want to make as big as possible. And she's also going to provide additional speed bar at the end of the turn. On self or hero Spider-Verse ally, when they block, she's gonna clear negative effects from those characters, and if they have Disrupt, she's gonna clear another negative effect. This does not mean that she clears Disrupt. No, if you have tons of negative effects like with Carnage applies Disrupt and other negative effects, it's gonna be luck based. So once again, depending on the RNG you have, you might be very successful or not that much. When this character has Deflect, lower the crit chance and crit damage of all enemies, which is good. So you don't need to have all the characters with Deflects in order to reduce their damage. And she's going to increase the health of the team, but also Spider-Verse characters outside of their team, right? So this is gonna work with Web Warriors, this is gonna work with Tangle Web, and she might be very, very powerful together with Tangle Web with all these stuns that she applies to the enemies. More resistance, more armor, more health, and in raids she's gonna give even more health to Spider Society allies. Once again, Rebirth 2.0, it seems like they have all the stats in raids and nothing outside of raids. Let's move on to Spider B Parker. He's going to be somewhat of the support character of the team. He's a little bit slow, but not too much. The mechanics for him is going to be more on applying offense down to the enemies, making sure that the enemies are not doing a ton of damage to you. And he also provides a lot of clear negative effects, positive effects for your team, and healing. So once again, it's going to be pretty much the support of the team. And he has a lot of synergies with the Spider-Verse characters, not just Spider Society. Of course, we are talking about the heroes, not the villains. And on his passive is also going to provide more health, more barrier, more everything for Spider Society characters. So once again, you want to use Penny Parker with Tangle Web, with Web Warriors, but this guy you kind of want to use him more with the Spider Society characters, right? On top of that, he also has other mechanics. So for example, here he applies defense up, deflect, regeneration, and death proofs for hero Spider-Verse characters. So that would still work with Web Warriors or Tangle Web and so on. So he still has some value there. In raids, he applies a safeguard for Spider Society, makes sense. And he also has the chance of getting an assist from the character with the highest damage. So depending if you are a whale, depending if you have the full team geared up, depending on the size of your other characters, this might call out for assist the Spider-Man India or Spider-Man Noir or Ghost Spider. So depending on the ISO 8 setup, once again, maybe you want Penny Parker to be your only striker, so she's always the one assisting, and other characters as raiders, so they don't assist, right? So once again, this is going to be extremely important because it's going to increase the amount of energy you get, or the amount of barrier, or the amount of speed ups, or the amount of evades. The Spider B Parker is also going to have an assist chance on Spider Society. This also works in raids. Can use this in Dark Dimension, maybe. Once again, because we don't know for sure if these guys are going to be more skill or more bio when it comes into gear, we don't know for sure if you can gear them up for Dark Dimension or not, which is still an interesting prospect. And as I mentioned before, more health, more resistance, and so on for Spider Society. So these guys are getting like what? Like 150% additional health in raids. It's pretty ridiculous. The fact that Scopely is really scaling the bonus health, bonus damage, and so on in raids because they just want to power creep so much the all teams, right? They really don't want you to use the all teams. Okay, so overall that's the gist for the Spider B Parker. Let's take a look at other characters as well. We have Spider-Man Noir with a decent rework. He's gonna get way more health, so like 40% more health or so, and 20% more damage as well. This is gonna be great, once again together with Tangle Web, but also on this own team. And depending on how you pair up these characters, you might get a very good team for Alliance Wars or Cosmic Crucible, to the same level that you had with Pegasus, right? So Pegasus was pretty good, and depending if you have a bonus for the raid season or the Cosmic Crucible season or the War season or whatever, then you might get even more value. But in terms of Spider-Man Noir changes for raids, we didn't get like super crazy changes. We have just a little bit more bonuses. In raids is going to be the character spawning with offense up, so those assists that we were mentioning before, it's not for him, but we still have to take into consideration after on the second turn, because he's going to be the fastest character, right? And after he's not going to have the offense up, he's going to do more damage to Hydra, the same as before, and in raids he's going to give 50% more damage to Spider Society characters, which once again, it's huge, really huge. Insane amount of stats these characters are getting in raids. Finally, we have Ghost Spider, Spider-Gwen. Now she's going to apply more consistently the blinds. It's not limited by just having miles. She's also going to apply a little bit bleeds. Then she has the special that she needs a crit chance in order to apply ability block. Because of the buffs that Spider-Man India gives, you no longer need to have her as a raider, so you might use her as a skirmisher for consistency, or you might use her as a striker to make sure that you're applying the blinds, and that's it. Spread negative effects. This ability is still kind of trash because the cooldown is so long, but now because Penny Parker is giving energy on spawn outside of raids, you can use this ability on turn 2, which is not so bad, but it's still going to be very difficult for you to pull it off in Alliance Wars or Cosmic Crucible and so on, and this is definitely an ability that you want to use on offense. In raids, on spawn, apply speed up for everyone, apply evades for everyone, increasing the survivability. She's also going to provide energy, so you should always have full energy on spawn. The problem is the energy in between the fights. And then Spider Society, she's going to provide stealth to them, and this works outside of raids. So once again, you can have a situation like Pegasus where rescue goes under stealth and with evades becoming very annoying, and then you also have the dodge chance, the retaliation attacks, and then we have finally even more damage, 25% more damage to this character, 50% more damage to Spider Society characters, and also 25% additional damage for Web Warriors and Spider Society. It's insane the amount of stats that these guys are getting, but overall this seems like an okay team. Once again, in my opinion, this is pretty much Rebirth 2.0. And now, how do I feel about the Dark Dimension? Is any of these characters like having value in Dark Dimension? Probably not, Maybe the characters that apply offense down, but the biggest problem of this team is that we don't know for sure how they are going to be geared up. We don't know for sure what kind of sustainability they're going to be able to provide, and the stats that they have on their own, right? If they don't have good stats on their own, if they are too slow, then they are not going to be good options. And now the final point, why is this team a trap team? So let's jump into the game and see why I consider this team kinda of a trap team. For now, let's be honest, this is for now, and this is for most people if you are free to play, light spender and so on. So the skill team is the last section that you face in the raids. I have 20 energy left, there is 5 hours left, so I actually don't have more energy to spend in the raids. Now, we have one member that is a little bit behind, so he might have additional energy, but for most people, you reach the end of the raids and you don't have more energy to spend, or because you did too much, or because someone else didn't do enough. So you are in a situation that you are gearing up a full team for some nodes that you might not even be able to face, or you have to use the power cores in order for you to use those characters, right? Then we have the other problem that this team is gonna take like 2 months for it to be released free to play, 1 month and a half. They are releasing the characters every 12 days or so nowadays, assuming that we might get some event in between. We don't know exactly when the new legendary is coming, next patch, so it's going to be difficult, right? It's definitely going to be very difficult to justify investing on this team right away, because if you don't have the full team, you don't have any other web warrior characters that you can use. You can't, they are not skilled. So or you have the full team or you don't, or you have the full team or it doesn't work. So once again, this is a trap team at least early on, because until you have all the 5 characters unlocked, you don't know if it's not gonna work. We already know it's not gonna work for sure. You need at least 4 of these characters for it to work. And Penny Parker, the one that gives the energy, is gonna be the most important, and is probably gonna be the last character to be unlocked, right? So once again, in my opinion, for most people, this team is going to be a trap team until you have all the characters available. And even if you get all the characters available, watch out. You don't want to overinvest on them, because with 100 plus additional % health, with 100 plus additional % damage, you might not have to invest a lot on them. So wait for people like myself or other content creators or whales from your alliance to get up these characters and see how much you have to invest on them for them to be useful, and if it makes sense for your alliance or not to try to complete these skill nodes. Because let's be honest, as soon as this team becomes available, everyone is going to be able to do the skill nodes anyway. So the advantage you think you might have for the raid rewards and so on, it's not going to be that much. And yeah, this team is going to be important for the future when Scopely puts the skill team at the beginning rather than at the end. So yeah guys, that's going to be the video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know in the comments below what you think about these skill raid team, biotech, whatever, Spider Society. Are you guys excited for more Spider characters? We know for sure they are coming, right? This is just the second wave of this year, but you're gonna get more for sure in the near future. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash that like button, and if you found the video helpful, make sure to share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Mouse Force content, and I'll catch you guys later.